right. It is 3 p.m. on a Sunday, so everyone knows what that means.
It's Average Rants.
Yeah, here at KNMC
90.1.
FM. So you went on a trip?
What?
You went on a trip?
Yeah, I went over to my in-laws. You can't just do
No,
that.
I
You
just
gotta,
want to ask how your trip was before I get into the events.
it's like everybody's vacation. You need a vacation from your vacation when you get home.
I don't need a vacation.
Your whole life is vacation.
That's right. I just enjoy life.
Yeah. Community announcements is Memorial Day. There's a lot of crap going on.
There's a flag ceremony. It already happened. So
No, that's the 30th.
30th.
That's tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I gotta catch up.
you better read the dates.
I'm sorry, I already had Victoria Day. We don't do Memorial.
Well, you're here, so you got to do all that.
All right. So May 30th at 11 a.m. there is the Memorial Day flag ceremony. Then there is a lap swim at 11:30. So you could go to the flag ceremony and then do a lap.
It's some laps in. They say swimming is one of the best exercises you can do. Works every muscle in the body.
And then at 3 p.m. there's the flag retirement. That is the Boy Scouts doing that. What's flag retirement?
I have no idea.
Is that where they take down a flag and put a new one up?
Probably.
I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Never retired a flag.
June 1st, Books and Babies at 11:15 a.m. at the Haverhill County Library.
Do I see karaoke on there?
Yeah, it's been showing up on here for the Tippet. The Tippet put karaoke up there for every time they have it now.
Nice.
Which is every Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Yeah.
All right.
At the Tippet. It's weird that it says at 12 p.m., but I'm pretty sure it starts at like 10.
Nice.
Yeah. That looks about stuff that isn't repetitive. Oh, June 8th, there's the Haverhill Soccer sign-ups at 4 p.m.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah, I still got to go do that, though. But I will go sign up, and my wife and I are going to coach. That'll be fun.
You say so. I was already a soccer coach once.
Yeah, but I've coached soccer, and I coached kids that were Kingston's age.
Me too.
And I did it a little differently. But around here, I guess they make them play games.
Mm-hmm.
And at 2, who knows how to play soccer? Or 3, who knows how to play soccer?
I'm 38 and I still don't understand some of the rules.
Well, that's just it. I don't understand why they should change it where certain age groups aren't actually just playing soccer. They're probably just learning skills and developing skills. That would make more sense.
They just run around kicking each other in the shin.
Well, I mean, around here, do they, like when I was in grade 6, we didn't play basketball games. We went to competitions, and it was skills competitions. Do they just go play games?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's so weird. Maybe that's why Canada's so much better at sports.
I don't know.
Not
basketball.
Well, okay. You guys just have a lot of tall guys, and I don't even think we have. Oh, that's not. Well, we did win the NBA like 2 years ago.
The what?
The Raptors, the NBA.
Most of those are American-born players, though.
It don't matter. It's the team that you play for, right? Because if we go by that rule, then Canada wins the Stanley Cup pretty much every year.
That or Russia, I would say.
Well, Russia can't be there right now.
I don't know. There's 3 goalies in the finals right now. They're all from Russia.
Yeah, but do they consider themselves from Russia anymore?
Well, maybe. Yeah.
I didn't. That's weird. Maybe that's why I struggle with how some of the stuff is happening around here for like my kid.
Yeah.
Well, just doesn't make sense to me.
Get on a board somewhere.
I was.
Well, there you go.
But it don't matter because you can't be one person in a sea of piranhas.
All right. You were the pork chop.
Pretty much. That's what it felt like.
Anyway, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
I did enough events. People don't listen to us to hear the events happening in Haver.
So
I guarantee you, people listening to us know more events than we do.
probably. The computer's Good. Yeah. Anyway, so your favorite sport is no coincidence. It's not hard to figure out what your favorite sport is. Your favorite sport is hockey.
Yep.
Right. What's your favorite part of hockey?
My favorite part of hockey. Oh, I think it's the team aspect.
Okay. And if you're a person that just has never played it but loves to watch the game, what do you think their favorite part is?
The violence.
Fans are going insane over an ice hockey fighting league that has no sticks or pucks, just brawls.
Yeah, I've watched that.
Ice Wars International is making sports fans go nuts, as the sport is mixed hockey fighting with an MMA-style rule set. This is a real thing.
Yeah, I've watched it, and then they sometimes get goalies out there.
They have to wear MMA gloves, but they pad up, skate up, and they beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of reports about that. To me, though, that is the worst part of the game.
Right. It's not all no holds barred, though, as the rules state. You cannot headbutt, bite, pull hair, or knee your opponent. Also, combatants' helmets and gloves must stay on at all times.
Well, they are on ice.
They are. That's what makes it more interesting. Like, you can't put...
There's going to be no chokeholds.
It doesn't say you can't.
Yeah, but I feel like all it's going to take is one throat or one leg getting cut, and they go, no kicking.
Right. My jerseys, I have a Chiefs jersey, from those of you who have ever watched one of the greatest hockey movies of all time. Has something on it that keeps your jersey from being pulled over your head. It's got a little strap with a button on it, so you can't have your jersey. You can't be jerseyed, which was one of the biggest moves back in the day when the enforcers were out there. They just pull your shirt over your head and just clock you. Well, kind of like Happy Gilmore did in the beginning of Happy Gilmore, where he pulled that dude's shirt off and then just clocked him.
Well, I mean, a good hockey player knows how to get the buttons off quick.
Yeah. There were even players back in the day that would cut the straps on their pads, so their pads would just fall off the minute somebody grabbed onto them.
Oh,
but
you want to go?
Yeah. Like, you couldn't tell what role that guy played on his team, right? That's like, some people like the fighting aspect. I mean, I don't mind a fight sometimes, but I don't know if you watched the game last night.
No.
The Rangers were it was late in the third period, and they were just dominating Carolina. So Carolina just decided, you know what? We're just going to get physical. And they were drawing penalties and fighting. And because they couldn't beat them on the ice, they had to try and get that moral victory back. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that aspect of the game.
Well, I mean, do they get penalties?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not part of the game.
Right.
That's why I think people get confused.
But, I mean, it is technically part of the game for them. Like, they do it on purpose.
They do it on purpose.
Because I've watched games go into overtime for 6 overtimes and not a single penalty. They know when they're drawing a penalty. They know when to do it and when not to do it. But they were cross-checking, hooking. They were physically trying to hurt their opponent, to try and get themselves, build their morale up, which I don't see.
Well, or to scare the other team because they knew they were going to lose.
A guy like me, and I can look up at the scoreboard. If I'm winning 5-2, you can cross-check me if you want, but I'm just going to go, it still says 5-2. And it's probably going to be 6-2 because you're going to the box for 2 minutes and we're getting a power play.
Yeah. Well, I'm the kind of guy, though, like, we're winning 5-2 and you're cross-checking me. I will spear you where nobody can see me speared.
You've been speared.
I have been speared many a times. I had somebody try to jab my eye out.
We're not talking spearing like wrestling spear where they run into you and tackle you. No, they take their stick like a Spartan and try and stab you with it.
Or you... my favorite way is with the knob of your stick. So when you're standing beside someone, you just pull cue it. Yeah, I'll do that to you this year.
Saw something kind of rare. It does happen. Saw a goalie get a cross-checking penalty last night, though.
So he grabbed it with 2 hands?
He grabbed his stick with his 2 hands. He was trying to get back into his crease, but there was a guy in his way. So he just went, boom! Rep was standing right there and sent him to the box. Goalies don't serve their own penalties, so.
No, that's what I mean. Goalies they can do whatever they want, except for if
They can't skate across the red line.
If you get a penalty that you would be ejected from a game, then the goalie does get ejected,
Right.
and that can really mess up a team.
Depending if your backup's any good or not. Yeah,
Did you see the Colorado player that saved a goal? Just laid down at the net.
Yeah. Put his body on the line.
Well, I don't know if I'd do that for you.
Right. You wouldn't.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
Nope.
So, yeah. I don't know if I'll be watching that anytime soon.
I don't really like that kind of stuff.
I mean, if I want to watch fighting, I'll watch MMA. If I want to watch hockey, I'll watch a hockey game.
Well, I mean, even when I played when I was younger, I was the enforcer that never fought.
You don't have to fight to be an enforcer.
No, but what I would do is I'd go around, I'd push their buttons, get them really mad.
Yeah, you're good at that.
Right? And then they would jump on me. And I still remember one guy tried to jersey me, couldn't do it, so then he grabbed the back of my helmet so I couldn't get up, and then just kept uppercutting me. And I was looking at the ref while it was happening, being like, are you going to stop this with like my arms out, not doing anything? And the ref's like, are you not going to fight him? I was like, no, he's the one that wants to fight, not me. So then I got a 2-minute for unsportsmanlike, and he got a 5-minute for fighting. And that was my job.
Yeah, in the game the other day, a guy got a 5-minute major, and they basically gave the whole bench a 2-minute minor. There were like 6 people in the box.
Nice.
So, did you know
Yeah.
that there could be a mysterious lost city underneath the Grand Canyon?
Are we talking about the actual Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Okay.
What other Grand Canyon do you know of?
A large woman.
What's wrong with you? Could there be a mysterious lost city underneath the Grand Canyon that can only be accessed through a cave opening almost 1,486 feet down a sheer canyon wall? According to a feature article in the Arizona Gazette of April 5th, 1909, there absolutely is such a place.
Okay, come on now. You literally said the Grand Canyon and a small cave at the end of the canyon. You're making it sound like it's a bum.
Only you would think that way. The story goes that one G.E. Kincaid discovered the entrance while traveling the Colorado River by boat seeking minerals when he noticed a strange sedimentary formation and decided to investigate. Mysterious Universe's Brent Swanser explores this strange tale and can't prove that the lost subterranean city doesn't exist anyway. So there's no evidence that says it doesn't exist. But there's evidence that says it does.
So why haven't they went down the hole?
Under the direction of Professor S.A. Jordan, the Smithsonian Institute then allegedly launched a thorough exploration into the cave to find that the main passageway penetrated nearly a mile underground, 1,480 feet below the surface, where it joined a massive chamber of some sort, from which branched off a series of tunnels, like the spokes of a wheel. Along these tunnels could be found an array of rooms filled with numerous artifacts, and having obviously been once inhabited, as well as some sort of shrine. This is all from 1909. I don't know why I haven't done. Kincaid also describes granaries containing seeds. Sorry, I got to learn how to read. At some point in my life. A large storehouse made from what appeared to be a type of very hard cement from unknown origin. A huge room about 400 by 700 feet that was thought to have probably been the main dining hall, and traces of a gray metal that could not be identified but resembled platinum, which, as I recall, I'm not a mineralogist or metallurgist, but isn't platinum just gold and silver mixed?
I just know that it's the most expensive thing that you can have.
No, even close. As well as it is in video games, but it's worth less than pure gold. White gold is just platinum. Anyway, as well as numerous yellow stones strewn about all over the floor. The entire cavern and tunnel system was expansive, estimated to have been able to house upwards of 50,000 people comfortably. Throughout the complex were found to be the myriad of carvings in the walls, doorways, and artifacts that appeared to be some form of hieroglyphs. The story has gone on to be discussed ever since, with many theorizing that it was the Egyptians, some forgotten lost civilization, or even reptilian humanoids. Oh, there we go. That's us all over it right there. The mystery of the weird reptile people.
Yeah.
There is that conspiracy of reptile people. But there are plenty of skeptics that point out that it was likely a piece of fake news or for slow news day. For their part, the Smithsonian Institute has denied that such an expedition was ever made or that there is anything there. And they deny having ever had any association with a G.E. Kincaid at all, who cannot be shown to have ever been a real person. Of course, that's what they want us to believe. It's totally weird. I don't know. It's a big canyon, man. There could be anything at the bottom of that thing.
Well, I mean,
if you're going to hide a city, that's a good place to hide it.
Well, the only thing, though, is like it used to be water.
Thousands and thousands of years ago.
Yeah. So then when it drained, where did it all drain to? Maybe it did go underground. Maybe
what do you mean, where did it drain to?
Well, because there was water, and it would slowly go somewhere or evaporate.
You know that there is still a river running through it, right?
Yeah, but it's only a little river.
The Colorado River.
It's only a little one. It's not the Mississippi.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would cause like holes would show up, and who knows how far down they go.
Mm-hmm.
And then if somebody wandered across it.
Well, how many fortunes of gold do you think are buried in the Old West because of like guys that would rob things and had to bury it
and they got shot.
And then they got killed like a week later and they couldn't go back. I mean, that's Jesse James's fortune. Like they don't know where it's at because, well, he couldn't run around with all of it.
Well, I'm being honest. If you found a fortune in the middle of the desert or like somewhere,
people do all the time, and it drives me nuts. Why can't I be digging in my backyard and pull out a jar full of gold?
Would you go around and advertise it right away?
Finders keepers, man.
I'm pretty sure if you were found one, you're like, hey, I found Jesse James's, you would have the government.
No, I would come right here with you and turn on the radio and let our fans know I found a jar of gold in my backyard.
And then we'd be like, hello, our feed's been kind of weird. They have been listening to us.
The FBI just rolled up, man. Lights going.
Out of our 3 listeners.
One today.
Well, that's on YouTube.
Okay.
I know my mother's listening.
Oh, let's see. There you go.
Oh, and I do.
So
I should announce this on the radio, even though I doubt she's listening. But it is my younger sister's birthday today. She's turning 26.
Oh my goo.
Yeah.
You're so old.
Oh yeah, and the best thing was I called her. I
said, I thought you were the youngest.
The youngest boy.
Oh, see how you are. You made it sound like you were the baby because you are a baby.
I'm a big baby. But I called her and I was talking to her about it, and I was like, "So how's it feel to be old?" And she's like, "Well, the nice thing was I was at the bar the other night, and they thought that I was 20. I was like, "You're 26. That's not a huge difference." But it's funny that they think that 6 years is a long time. And I was like, I can't remember what 26 felt like.
A lot less painful.
Probably.
Dude, I wake up, I'm like, man, how hard did I sleep? I hurt everywhere.
Right? Yeah, I've had 3 rough days of pain. Probably why I haven't been golfing.
Or it's because I haven't gone with you.
You don't like to go golfing.
I like to go golfing. Besides, I make you feel better.
Well, you just
for some reason, you only shoot really great scores when I don't golf with you. So I'm beginning to wonder if you actually shoot these scores.
I just play bad so that you'll keep playing.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
Yep. So
here's a fun fact. When will Pluto complete its first orbit since its discovery? See, I had always thought that Pluto had already gone, had probably gone around the sun.
It's way out there.
But we discovered that Pluto was discovered on February 18th in 1930. And it still hasn't gone around the sun yet. once.
It's just taking its time.
It does take its time. Apparently, it takes 248.09 years, Earth years, to make one pass around the sun.
Well, and that's why it can't be a planet. Because
Why?
no one would survive a year on Pluto.
No one will survive a year on any other planet but our own.
Mercury with the right suits of armor.
No.
Why not? How do you know?
Are you thinking Mars?
No. I don't like Mars.
It's just too red.
Yeah. I'd rather go to the burning planet closest to the sun.
Is it Mercury or is it Venus that's closest to the sun?
Mercury's the closest.
All right. Are you sure?
I know this.
Do you?
Yes.
You better Google that.
Oh my goodness.
Because you got you second guessing you now.
No, I'm not. Do you second guess?
Could have just typed in Mercury.
There, like, what planet is closest to the sun?
Fine, it's Mercury.
Boom.
Whatever. It's like 10 billion degrees in the sun and like negative 5 million in the shade.
Now, can you tell me why do we have an element that's called Mercury and there's a planet called Mercury?
Because it's the god, the Greek god Mercury, right?
Yeah, but that's for the planet too.
What?
The planets were named like, well, Mercury is not one of the Greek gods, but
He's a god.
No.
Yes, Mercury was a god.
But then what about the stuff from the thermometer?
Well, I don't know why they decided to call it that. But Mercury is a god. I believe he's...
What do you know?
He's the god of speed.
Oh, that's Hermes.
Yep. Well, he's the Roman god of
That's
speed.
what I was trying to say. I was like, the planets are not the Roman, the ones that we would know, like the Greek. No, the Greeks.
We all know the Greek gods.
Are the ones that are like Hermes and Zeus, and so the planets are the Roman version.
Because
of
it's
them.
the Romans who discovered the planets.
Yeah, but they just took the Greek gods.
That's what people do when they take over something. Christians, they just rehash it for themselves.
Yeah, because Venus is Aphrodite, Jupiter is Zeus,
Yeah.
Mercury's Hermes. Who's Uranus?
I'm not going to Uranus. It's Uranus.
It's Uranus?
Uranus. I think Uranus hadn't been discovered, so they didn't name it. Saturn is Kronos.
Yeah. It's Oranos.
Neptune is Poseidon. Yeah.
So Uranus is Oranos.
Well, poor Pluto.
It is literally pretty much Uranus with an O in front of it.
Poor Pluto. They just won't let it be anything. They're like, no, it's a dwarf planet. Well, it's still a planet. No.
Well, no, it was nothing. No, it was a planet. Then it was nothing. Now it's a dwarf planet.
Right. And they still believe that there might be another planet beyond Pluto.
Oh, of course there is. There's galaxies.
No, in our solar system.
Oh, maybe Planet
See,
X.
see, people believe Planet 9. People actually think that our solar system ends at like Pluto. That's still the beginning of our solar system. I mean, you get out there to the Kuiper belt and all that crap, way out past there. Yeah.
You know what? Until we get out there, I don't believe it.
Well,
We're just, if you get to the edge and you push, it just
Fall off?
it opens a door that is in like a subway and another
the
door.
crazy thing is with Planet X or Planet 9, there's something there. They know there's something out there, but it's so far away they can't see it.
Maybe it's a spaceship monitoring everything.
But there's something that's got gravity that's pulling on stuff. They can measure the gravity, but they can't see where it's coming from because it's.
Well, how many movies have we watched where a spaceship shows up that's bigger than a planet,
Two.
right? And you don't see it causing any gravitational pull.
Independence Day. Wait, what? No, the Death Star. It had its own gravity.
Yeah, but it never seemed to throw off any planets.
No, it should though.
Yeah.
Because everything, but it's weird, like to think that I have my own gravity. Like I pull things towards me.
Mm-hmm.
on a very, very micro.
That's
level.
why when like a leaf, well, not like a leaf, those little fuzz balls that you can just see when the sun's hitting in the right place, and you notice that they're coming towards you. No matter what you do, they just keep coming.
Stop chasing me. Yeah, because you have a little teeny tiny bit of gravity. The bigger more mass you have, the more gravity you have.
Yeah. That's why my gravity pulls my wife towards me. I mean, she hasn't gotten away yet.
It's because you're not touching that. So Pluto is not due to make a lap for a while yet, though. Oops. I don't know.
You what?
Pluto will complete its first full orbit since its discovery on Monday, March 23rd, 2178.
Oh, we'll have to put that on our calendar.
Yeah. Do you think we'll still be doing the show?
I think so.
Right?
I mean, this is our legacy.
Our great grandkids will be doing it.
Yeah. It'll turn into one of those like stories that gets passed down. We're like, your grandfather's father.
We talked about this on the radio.
They still have the airwave files. I don't even know what they would call it.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. Ooh. Do you want the annoyingly upsetting story, or do you want the happy story?
Let's go with the bad one first.
This one drives me nuts, and this isn't the first time this has happened. We, as a species and people, need to start helping each other more. This drives me nuts. There was a woman on a New York City subway being assaulted in front of everybody on the train. She was being physically assaulted, begging for help from people. People just watched. What is wrong with our society? Why couldn't somebody say something?
That's the bystander effect.
The most annoying thing about this whole thing that I guarantee you, and because it says there's a dude with his phone videoing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Put your phone down. You're not being a hero. You're being a decent human being.
Well, how are you going to make money off somebody suffering if you can't film it?
Right? Like, let's just show a little bit of humanity, and if somebody needs help, help them.
Well, it's that bystander effect. Sammy actually knows about that, but it's the somebody always assumes that somebody else will do something, so they wait for that person.
It's a herd mentality. We're really bad as a species about it.
But it's crazy. I guarantee if you had that same scenario happen, and one person fought the bystander effect,
you get more in there.
everyone would start.
Well, it's the same. Well, here's the worst. People are more likely to charge into a violent situation, like take the riots, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, well, I believe in this fact, but I'm not going to get violent about it. But the person next to him is like, well, I believe in this, but I'm willing to be violent about it to do it. Well, it spreads. It's the monkey see, monkey do. So I'm going to throw a bottle or I'm going to throw a rock at a building because you're crazy.
Yeah.
And then other people start doing it.
It's the leader versus followers.
Right. But it just makes me really upset to see all that's going on right in less than a few feet from you.
Well, that just tells me that everyone that was on that train has no leadership qualities.
No humility.
Well, it's because you have to be a leader to break the do nothing. Somebody else is going to do it.
Like you couldn't go to the engineer on the train. But
something. Even that, right? Like there's people that. So I actually did one of them here, where I came in as like a guest speaker to help out with it, for trying to teach young men what to do in bystander situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you call? Do you say anything? And there were so many of them that were like, it's not my problem.
Dude, and here's the other thing that's like that the opposite. That's not really the opposite. It's just kind of like similar. If two guys were getting into it, would anybody step in?
Well, I mean, if it was random, I would.
Right.
But I mean, like, I've been.
Or do you see? This to me is like she was just sitting there and he's assaulting her. But if it's two guys who get into a brawl over an argument, there's a bit of a difference there. Like you and I have, I've seen it. Like two guys at a party get into a brawl. There's a circle, right? One guy gets the upper hand. Usually the rest of the guys will pull him off because they don't want. That's what's stupid. Like, why did you let it get that far in the first place? But it just happens. You just let them duke it out. Usually. But in that case, like, why didn't somebody just step up and say, hey?
People are dumb.
Right?
Like, there's a lot of stuff.
Like, I've never been in this situation, but I would like to think that I would be like, you know what? I'm going to step in and say something. I've
never been in a situation where I had to step in, but I have been in ones where I had to stop people from stepping in. Like I still remember when I was younger, and I had a guy throw me up against the wall, and I had two of my buddies that were like, they were big guys, and they looked at me, and I just put my hand leg to be like, no, he's gonna stop, and the guy like stopped eventually, and I was just like, what's your problem? And when we left, I still remember my buddies being like, we were going to kill him. I was like, I know.
I don't know what the worst part about this whole story is the fact that nobody helped or that the people just didn't care. The only thing they cared about was filming it with their phone.
Yeah. It's all about the views nowadays. I mean, look, we're so upset because we've only got 2 now. We want 2 million.
Like and subscribe. But no, I mean, I just wish we could get some of our humanity back. Like it's slowly dissolving. Like we're getting and I've listened to Ready Player One a couple of times now, and I can't tell you how much society is falling into that.
You know what's weird about that though is I feel like if there was a world like that where everything was just online, you'd be more open to helping people.
Because there's
nobody knows who you are. It's that sense of the unknown stranger.
Yeah, you have that security type deal. You can't get physically hurt, right? I mean, maybe in
you could lose some coins
in an emotional state. I mean, there is that type of physically hurt, right? Like, but we're as a species, we're not meant to be plugged in all the time. Like that. You know how weird it would be? Like in the book, there are people they don't leave their houses ever.
Yeah.
They don't even leave them. I mean, everything they do, they can do through their computer.
Eat.
No, they can do while they have to eat, but they can eat while they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
Like they have automated robots that drop stuff off at their house, and people are like, "Oh, that doesn't happen." It does. Amazon has it right now, where they have little robots that can drive to your house and drop off your packages.
Yeah.
Like they have these things. It's not like this is crazy.
There's videos of those things going around like big cities running into poles.
Yeah, like we're not. People are like, well, that's way. No, we're there. We're here right now. VR is a thing.
Yeah, and it's getting easier and easier to get. So like right now, it's like when it first came out, you needed a whole like weird kit thing. And now you just need
your phone that can snap in to a set of head goggles, and wherever you look, it does it.
Well, there's that, but I mean, now we're getting your hands are involved now, and eventually we're gonna have a suit.
I'm pretty sure they already do. The technology is there, but I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I would try it out, but I see us going that way.
Yeah, I would buy one.
Right. Well, you're an avid video gamer. But even for people who, and that's what's crazy thing about the book. Even if you don't play video games, it's not so much for just the gamer. You could create a whole new persona. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be you. You don't have to be the tall kid with acne who everybody made fun of. You can be whoever you want to be. You can create your perfect you. But is it really you?
I would just have me.
Just you.
Yeah, I would try to look exactly the same. But have ridiculous cool powers.
Right.
Because then people would be like, oh, look at this guy. He just looks normal.
There was a similar movie, and if you haven't read the book, I mean, Ready Player One as a movie is pretty good. The book is fantastic, but the movie gets the general thing and it across, and it's like everybody is plugged in all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy. But there was another movie called Gamer.
Oh yeah.
You know,
that one was a weird one though.
but it was the same thing. Like people, actual real life people were controlled.
You could sell your body to be controlled.
Well, no, you were basically employed.
Yeah.
So you had, that was your employment. Or in the gamers play, the main character, he's an inmate, and he has to survive so many death matches.
I still think the worst part about that was when you sold yourself to be able to be controlled by somebody. You knew what was happening, but you couldn't stop it.
Right. Like you didn't have any. You had cognitive function, but you didn't have any mobile function. You couldn't. Yeah. You couldn't stop.
I still remember that scene when they're in like that. When the girl's walking through that park,
right?
And there's like people just making out with each other, and there's that person that falls and her bone's broken.
Yeah.
And she's laughing but crying.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, man, can you imagine being forced to like just make out with?
Right. Yeah. That was a tough movie for me. I own the movie, but it just like, wow, that would just.
Yeah, I feel like that is less likely to ever happen, but the Ready Player One stuff definitely will.
It's already. I mean, you look at some kids that are just so locked in on games. They're not even VR.
Yeah.
Like how many hours went by? I mean, you've done it. You've probably done it multiple times where you sat down and started playing a game, and then you look at the clock and like, that can't be the right time.
Yeah, I did that when I was younger. I can't do that as much anymore.
But I mean, you would, I'd get home from work and I'd start playing a game and I'd be like, I better go to sleep because it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was getting sucked into the world because it's easier to hang out with your friends when you don't have to walk home after.
Well, and I wasn't, and I'd never been a big, massive online game player where, playing on with my friends. It was just me in a game.
Yeah.
Just, it's good to escape the world, but geez, you got to realize that the world's going to keep spinning whether you want it to or not. You can't just hide from it.
Oh man, it's so weird. Like, I mean, I play World of Warcraft and I haven't been doing raids and stuff recently because I got my in-laws in town and I've been liking hanging out with my kid and my wife at night. And I log on randomly to have people be like, "Where you been?" And I was like, "I'm hanging out with my."
You don't even know what I look like, man. Like you're like in Ready Player One, like his best friend. He's never met him.
Yeah, didn't know it was a girl.
Yeah, right. Oh, spoiler alert!
I don't care. If
you haven't
seen it, you don't want to see it.
But yeah, I mean, he didn't even like. And it's funny. And throughout the whole movie and the whole book, he's like, "You could be best friends with a 390-pound because he falls in love with another player. He could be a 390-pound dude named Chuck."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love him, right? It just goes to show that it's not kind of off topic, but he fell in love with the personality. He didn't fall in love with what was attached to the physical part of it. He was in love with who they were as a personality or their.
But then that's the scary part too, is that just because that's the way they are in the game doesn't mean that when you meet them in person that they're going to stay that way.
Although there are a few, I've played some online games with, and there's a reason I don't, because there are those people who are like, you're a jerk in game. I don't want to meet you in real life.
Yeah, I'm just annoying.
Right. Like you see it in the.
Oh no! So like the example is, I'm the type of player that there's these mounts that friends can ride on with you, and I will get them to come on, and then I will jump off a cliff and then jump back myself, and they'll fly off the cliff.
Yeah. Thanks for being a jerk.
Yeah. Or I'll tell people that they need to. I was like, if it's their first time in a place, I'll be like, oh yeah. So if we got to jump down here, and then we'll get a power or something. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, oh cool, and they jump down there, and I'm like, oh,
well, it's not just video games that people get locked in on.
No,
social media is crazy.
I hate TikTok. I hate it.
Well, TikTok to me is no different than YouTube. It's just the videos are much shorter.
So with YouTube, you find what you're looking for. So like you go in with an idea. With TikTok, it's random. So you have to go mindlessly keep watching to see if it's actually. And people try to trick you, where they're like, watch to the end and see what happens. And when you do,
nothing happens. Those ones are really annoying.
Right, but I hate TikTok because it causes people. So
well, you have a TikTok account and I don't.
Oh no, I only had a TikTok account because every time you send me a video that's from TikTok, I can't watch it.
For some reason, I could like my phone would let me and it wouldn't let you.
So I got it so that I could at least watch the hockey videos that you've been
The
sending
golf
me.
and hockey
Well,
ones.
and I have another buddy that's been sending me random hockey videos he finds.
Yeah.
And I just was like, well, I want to watch them to see what they're trying to send. But I mean, I get into it where on Facebook, I think they have like a version of TikTok on there. And I watch like a couple of those every once in a while, but I'm like, it just seems so pointless. And I've watched so many friends and people just sit there for hours swiping through videos.
Well, same was with you. Like I've watched your kid watches video games of people playing video games.
Yeah.
Mine does too. I'm like, why don't you just play? You have the game. You know, you can
Oh,
just
yeah,
play it.
We've started kind of forcing her. So if she watches a video, I'll tell her that she either has to go play the game and do what they were doing, or
See, I do that if I'm stuck in a game. I'm like, how do I get past this part? Okay.
at least we don't have to buy the magazines anymore.
Oh, or back in the old days when you didn't have any money or that, you just had to figure it out.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I still remember going into a store and I didn't have the $17 because they were.
You just get a quick read in that magazine.
You do a quick read and then you see the guy at the desk being like, "What are you doing?" Be like, "Nothing." Okay, AB. Okay, I'm good.
Right.
Because you also couldn't take a picture of it.
Right.
You had to remember it.
No YouTube videos.
No, I don't. I get it. I get why kids are into it, but it's such a time waster. Like to me, it should be. And I mean, I've brought this up before. My wife and I are very much now trying to watch how much we are on our phones. And
It gets everybody.
well, and the hard part is that I remember when we first started, both of us would be defensive. So it'd be like, "Hey, get off your phone." And be like, "Well, I was just right," but now it's like, "Oh yeah, okay." So
Yeah, they pull you in. It's crazy.
well, it's helpful when you have somebody else that you trust to monitor you and let you know when you've been doing it too much.
Well, it's like really awkward when you're sitting at a group of people
Oh my god!
and everybody's on their phone. You're like, why are you guys even here?
I want,
Just
like-
stare at your phone.
I want to use my airsoft gun and shoot people between the eyes every time we're trying to have a gathering of friends and somebody's on their phone playing a game. It's different if they pull up their phone because maybe somebody called or there's a message.
Or check something out. I would look something up real quick, like the rules to a game.
But I hate it when you can tell that somebody's like bored.
And they're scrolling through their Facebook feed.
Well, yeah, and you're like, we're trying to talk, and they're like, "Oh, you weren't talking to me." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Do we need to constantly?"
How would you know you weren't listening?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like that feeling. Do you remember when you'd be in a group and somebody else would be having a conversation? You just sit there and listen for a bit because they were talking with somebody else, and then you chime in randomly.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore because they're like, "Oh, they're not talking to me. I need my instant gratification, so I'm going to pull out my phone."
Yeah, but technology has its good things.
It does.
It does. A quadriplegic man drove a race car with just his brain. That's sweet.
Okay, if they hooked my brain up to a race car, it would blow up.
Neurosurgeons, researchers, and engineers have come together to make it possible for a man who's quadriplegic to drive a car using his brain. On a track in Colorado Springs, racing thoughts and motor function have deeper meaning. Quadriplegic German Aldana Zun.
I love it when you have to read names.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Zuniga lost movement after a car accident when he was 16 years old. Now he's the first patient to drive with his brain. He could pull out a pit row, punch the throttle, and speed away using only his mind and technology.
That's weird.
That's
I don't
cool.
even know how you do that.
But I mean, think about it, because people now, it's sad. Like I see people quit way too early. Like, why'd you give up? Well, I couldn't do it. How do you know? You tried for 5 seconds. My daughter's worse.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even try. She's like, I tried once. Like, give it another go. Don't get. This isn't just a trait that's in her. I mean, everybody has the traits. Like, well, it was hard. I don't want to do it anymore. But finding a person who's like literally has zero function of his arms and legs, and he's doing 100 miles an hour around a racetrack. Like, that's got to be so cool.
Yeah, he'd probably be excited too.
Right?
Well, that's what I don't know. Like, how would you do it? If you were using your brain, if you got excited, would it throw it off?
Well, I hope you keep your concentration on what you're doing. There are probably fail safes in the. I would like to think there are fail safes in the system, because like my car, and I'm pretty sure your car does it too. If you start drifting out of your lane, we'll start screaming at you.
Yeah.
I mean, the cars can pretty much park them. Like, we got so bad at parallel parking. Automotive places went, you know what? We'll just let them hit a button.
I actually pride myself on my parallel parking because I had to go to when we moved to Georgia. I had to redo the driving test, and I was like, "Come on, I've been driving for how long?"
All right.
And they're like, "Well, no, because if you're out of state, apparently for them, if you're out of state and you move there, you have to do it." I still remember that it was just pylons, and I told her it was very hard to really see because it's just like
Yeah, the
50 pylons.
The cones aren't very tall.
Well, no, they were tall ones, but it was just like that blurred for your vision. Because they all blurred together because they looked all the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I can do this. I just went, and she looked at me and she's like, I don't regularly get somebody that does it in one go. So usually you do the back up and then you have to inch forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I just play a lot of video games. I just know get close to the mirror, match the mirrors up, and then
So when I took my initial driving test a long time ago, they're like, you need to parallel park. And the driver instructor gets me to the street. There's one car on the street. She's like, okay, parallel park. Like, there's nothing to parallel park to.
You should have just got out of the car. And been
Well,
like,
I mean, I the one car that was on the street, I just pulled in front of it and backed up to it and I'm like, and she's like, good. And I'm like, that doesn't constitute parallel parking by any stretch of the imagination. But I'll take it.
When I was in Canada doing my driver's test for my being able to drive alone and on the highways, so like the big one. And I remember I went and we backed out and I pulled forward and this truck kept coming and I had to start honking my horn at it. We were just in an alley. And it wasn't stopping, so I had to turn and back into a spot, and then the truck just kept going by. And the person was like, oh, man, that was crazy. I was like, yeah, right? And he's like, and the worst part would have been, you would have failed if he hit you. I was like, but it wasn't my fault. He's like, doesn't matter. You get into any accident while you're doing the test. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. You fail.
Crazy. Yeah. But what's crazy to me though is like everybody knows how dialed in and how distracted we can be as drivers. We're literally teaching our cars to drive for us so we can be distracted while we do it.
Well,
your car can automatically stop.
Think of how many babies are being made on the road these days. You know that's like a big thing now.
I didn't, but apparently it is.
The Teslas driving themselves? Come on.
I've seen one Tesla. Was it here? Yeah.
$10. You're in a Tesla. It's just you and your wife. You're driving somewhere. And it's like a 4-hour drive. You'd be like, hey, we got nothing else to do.
I don't know if I can afford a Tesla.
They're expensive.
But I mean, well, first of all, there's no charging stations anywhere near here.
Great Falls. And they can go up to 500 miles.
One Great Falls.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to drive to Great Falls every day to charge my car.
You would have your one at your home.
Oh, well, see, there you go. But I just, like, that's what's scary. Like, here, we don't want you to use your phone while you're driving, but we're going to make the car safe enough to where you can be using your phone while you drive because it'll just stop anyway.
You're right. I don't even know if they would work.
And everybody's guilty of using, like, I don't care who you are. You could say, I never use my phone while I drive. I'll bet you're lying.
Right?
I guarantee you use your phone while you drive. Well, I just checked my messages real quick. Doesn't matter.
The truth's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see how much one actually costs.
A Tesla? Well, the charging port is $400. So, yeah. 1,200 ponies.
Well, I mean, this Model S is only 100,000.
Only?
Only?
Yeah, no thanks. No. All right, this is a fun one. This is just fun facts that make you feel dumb.
Okay.
Like facts you think you should know but don't know. There is a D in fridge, but not in refrigerator.
I don't know how to spell anything.
I know you don't. I've seen you write. It's awful. Yeah. The World Wide Web contains fewer syllables than its intended short form, www, thus making the shorter version longer to say. Sound like a wasted effort there.
I don't even do www anymore.
You don't have to. Like, remember back in the day when you wanted to go to an internet site, you had to type it in perfect?
Yeah,
And if you made one mistake, you went somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, I tell you. Don't forget the extra O at the end of Yahoo. Hey, look, see, this one is only 50,000.
No.
I would own one of those before I buy a truck.
Cats and dogs and other similar animals can't see directly below their faces because their snout gets in the way. That's why you have to point out the treat a million times. They're not stupid. They just have a blind spot. I know I'm guilty of going, stupid dog, it's right there. They can't see it.
Well, my dog can always find that stupid ball. So
Yeah, but can it find the stupid treat?
I don't know. I've never tried to put one. I usually throw it and they catch it.
Yeah.
But now you know what I'm doing.
Right.
You trying to find more random facts?
Oh, there's a bunch of them here. When water boils, it's the same temperature no matter how big the bubbles are.
Somebody thought the bigger bubbles maybe.
Was hotter.
Oh. Interesting.
Here's one right up your alley. Oil paint does not dry. It just hardens.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if you add more oil to it, it softens back up again.
Yes and no. It has that shell on it. Right? That's why, like, when you make an oil painting, they can survive a fire. Like
So,
acrylic would burn.
You're a computer guy. Did you know the modern keyboard layout is designed to make you type slower? When typewriters were a new thing, they had done the obvious thing and put the most used letters in the home row. Result, people typed too fast and got the hammers tangled. I remember this because I learned how to type on a typewriter. Did you?
Yeah.
Right? So you remember when you got going and all of a sudden all the hammers got stuck again? Like, God, man. So they were like, okay, we need to make it harder to type. So people wouldn't mess up the hammers all the time. And they never switched it back.
I don't know, though, because now people are just so used to it that...
You're not an idiot. Learning to type is hard. It's supposed to be. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, what are the letters on the home keyboard? Like,
A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L?
Yeah, is an X in there somewhere and a Z?
That's on the the bottom row.
Yeah. You don't use those very often.
Every time I spell my name, I use the
I'm a one finger typer.
Oh, that's what my father does. Yeah,
Sometimes I get the middle finger going. I'll get two.
He'd put his glasses, and I don't know if I can make people hear it, but like like little taps, and then he'd be like, "Where's the eye? Where's the eye?"
Coconut milk is not the liquid inside the coconut. That's coconut water.
Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Coconut milk comes from the white flesh inside. The white flesh is pulped or diced and left to soak in warm water. This pulp is then squeezed through cloth, giving you the milk. Which leads me to a rant. There's oat milk. Oats don't produce milk.
But they produce an oil.
Which is not milk. You know where milk comes from? Mammary glands. Do oats have mammary glands?
Yes.
No, they do not.
Tiny ones.
I seen that movie, Meet the Fockers, right?
Yeah.
Right? He milks cats.
Yep.
Cats have nipples. You can milk a cat. My favorite line of that movie is when De Niro goes, "I have nipples. Can you milk me?"
Yeah.
The whole premise of that movie is so, like, who would do that to themselves to impress someone's parents?
I've done stuff like that.
Would you lose their cat and then go get one at the shelter and spray paint it?
If I was panicking, yes.
That.
But what are the odds of finding one at a shelter? But I mean, I was just telling my in-laws, like we were talking the other night, and I was talking about the first time I had a meal at their place. And when it was done, they had lemon meringue pie. I despise lemon meringue pie. I ate 2 pieces and said it was delicious. And they're like, why would you do that? I was like, because I wanted you to like me. They're like, we would have liked the same either way. I was like, yeah. But you liked me slightly more, thinking I liked lemon meringue.
How many lemon meringue pies do you have to suffer through?
Only the one. Because at the end of it, Sammy was like, well, how was supper? So I was honest with her, right? So I was just like, oh, man, that pie. She was like, I thought it looked like you didn't like it. Because every time they would look away, I'd be like, right? And then they'd look back and they're like, that's good. It's called acting.
You and pineapple.
Hey, I tried fresh pineapple and suffered normally through it. I think it's just the...
Is pineapple a pizza topping?
No, it is not. It is the devil. And coconut is not a topping either. Coconut just dries your mouth out like throwing cinnamon in your mouth with nothing else.
Sandpaper, man.
Yeah. I don't understand why people...
Is a wrap a burrito? I had this discussion with you in the car on the way here.
No, it is not.
Why not?
And I even told you why.
Because it's not hot?
Yeah.
All burritos have to be hot.
Yes. I want you to make me a cold burrito that tastes good to prove me wrong.
I can make you a cold burrito that tastes good.
Okay. You know, I'm just doing this to get free food.
Yeah. I'm just saying I could do it. I'm not saying I will do it.
That it doesn't exist. It would just be a wrap.
Like, is cereal soup?
No, it is not.
Why? Your excuse is because it's cold.
Yeah.
There are dozens of soup that are cold.
You put milk in it.
You put milk in lots of soups, too.
No, only when you're cooking it. And then, therefore, it takes on the flavor of other things. You don't just put milk in and eat the soup.
You can't tell me that Count Chocula does not make that milk taste like chocolate
Okay, this
milk.
is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a can of tomato soup. I'm going to just dump it. It's going to be Campbell's. I'm going to dump it in a bowl. And I'm going to just pour milk on it and then give it to you and tell me how that
That's
tastes.
how I make tomato soup. I just heat it up.
Yeah, but look, see, so now you heat it up.
But you heat up grape nuts, too, if you want, in the microwave.
Yeah, but grape nuts aren't soup.
What are they? They're just grape nuts?
Yeah. Nuts aren't cereal.
Like, they make hot cereal. It's called oatmeal. And
That's not a cereal. That's called oatmeal for a reason, because it's oatmeal. It's not cereal.
It's called oat cereal.
No, it's called oatmeal.
like malto meal cereals.
I don't even know what that is.
See? That's what you don't know.
It's because it's not a cereal.
Just saying.
No, I will stand by this. You and your, if you think that cereal and soup are the same things, then you can milk an almond.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
You
It's the
can't.
same thing.
No, it's not. It doesn't have mammary glands. It doesn't produce milk. It has juice. You juice a nut. You do not milk one.
But it's milk.
What is orange juice milk then?
It's
What about apple
orange
juice?
milk juice.
What about apple juice?
What about it?
Is it apple milk?
Well, because we crush those. We don't lightly stroke them. I didn't know how else to describe that.
And lasagna is cake.
No, it's not.
It's too.
No, it's not.
It's totally cake. It's Italian meat cake with noodles in it and cheese on top, and I love it. It's like my favorite, one of my favorite. I can't say it's my favorite food because I love so much food. It'd be really hard to pick one.
Well, I like a whole lot of food. And lasagna is not a cake.
Look at it. It's got layers.
You're trying to tell me
Cakes have layers.
Onions have layers.
But everybody likes onions.
I like onions.
Oh, well.
You have a weird mindset of what things are and what they aren't.
Why can't lasagna be cake?
Because then when I tell people I want to eat it,
So what's
they
a
think, oh, you eat unhealthy.
you've had a s'more, right?
Yes,
What's a s'more?
it's a s'more.
Okay. What are the components of a s'more?
It is graham cracker, chocolate, and marshmallow.
Okay. What happens if you take that chocolate and replace it with a Reese's peanut butter cup? Is it still a s'more?
Because the chocolate's still there.
But you've added an ingredient.
The peanut butter,
Yes.
yeah, but it's still a s'more.
Does it still make it a s'more?
It's how it was developed. I use it by a campfire.
By the way, peanut butter cup, way better option than Hershey bar.
Oh, I've done that. Sammy just doesn't like peanut butter.
Sucks to be Sammy.
I know, but I've done it.
Yeah.
You know what's even better?
No.
Put a Mars bar on it.
Well, we can't because we don't live in
I
Canada.
know.
You have
So
to
I
suffer
guess
through a Milky Way.
Way, yeah.
Which I think is the same thing, isn't it?
No, there's the Milky Way is basically just like caramel with something else. There's one other thing.
Nougat.
There's like something else in a Mars bar, or it's just the chocolate. I don't know, but it is way different. Oh my goodness, it's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock.
But all I keep thinking about is food.
Well, because it's getting to be dinner time.
All right, well, yeah, you've been listening to Average Rants here at KNMC
90.1.
FM.
Don't forget to like us on whatever we're watching on here, YouTube.
On YouTube.
Subscribe, like, and subscribe.
I won't be here next week, so it's on Derek.
I don't remember how to do
The
this.
show goes on.
Nope. You'll just have to call in.